Thank you, my brother. I have been well. It is a privilege once again to be your guest on Hard Copy. I like that name.
Yes.
Hard Copy. You can't refute it.
Ah,
It's indelible truth.
it is
It
what's
can't be tampered with.
No, sir.
It's in front of you. It's hard.
I understand.
It's not out there in cyberspace
No,
and
sir.
or lost on some disk.
And when
It's
you-
in front of you, a hard copy. I just love it.
That's the whole idea. And when you come to hard copy, you better be talking sense and complete sense.
Absolutely.
And like pretty much like how you do all the time.
Absolutely.
And so
It's
we're
a-
happy to have you one more time again on our show. And yes, we are inviting calls to our show today because last time we had him here, we were letting him speak, and so you could feel who he really was. And
Right.
the embodiment of this man, such a great man who has been here talking and dealing with various lectures and stuff throughout the Bahamas. And a lot of people did not know who this man really was. And then, of course, when they introduced him on the show, because this is a hard copy, as he says, people understood, boy, this fella means something, and he can be the catalyst of us going to another level, to take it to another level, a complete level, because we've talked about vision, we've talked about leadership, and now we're talking about nation building, and that includes all of us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you once again. I want to go back in time because if we're going to get an accurate picture of where we are right now, right at this distinct moment in time, it's necessary for me to rewind the script,
Absolutely.
to go back. What happened when we gained self-determination? Just prior to that and leading up to that, everything that was inculcated in that cost the forefathers, for lack of a better word, that's what I like to call them. It cost them something. They took a risk. They were not driven by the monetary emolument or possibility of money or any kind of financial aggrandizement. They went out on a limb. They faced a system that was contrary. The pre-existing system at that time, the power structure, fought vehemently to stop the progress of what was happening. They took risks. And the history books and the historical accounts are there to show us that. There can be no progress without risk.
You got to take some risk.
And that's all I'm saying. And they handed to us something so valuable, something so precious, a gift. And what they did was for all Bahamians, not a select few of Bahamians at the time. And they handed to us, to my generation, and I'm going to include myself in that time and in that generation, Steve. We are part of that generation
Absolutely.
that were the benefactors and inheritors of what they handed to us, and even the persons who ended up leading us were a little older than us, but I am including us all because all of us was handed something precious. And the premise of that was to build the nation.
Absolutely.
Now, I want us to get that right because nation building encompasses building an ethnos, a people, not some people, but all the people. It's all inclusive. It's all embracing. That was the spirit and intent. It was never intended to build a special group of people to the detriment of others.
Absolutely not.
Please let's understand this. And part of what went wrong, I need us to time date again, in the absence of seeing what a liberating nation or the process of being liberating leaders look like. We didn't have a clue. So we cut an imagery of something that was already there, and that was the system run by the oligarchs. Please let us understand this.
Understood,
I want us
understood.
to get a clear picture of this. We cut our model of what we call leadership off what they did.
That's right.
The BSB, the Bay Street Boys, the WK, the White Knights, they held the financial infrastructure and power. They were the money moguls. They owned the businesses to the exclusion of the masses who worked and were seen just as serfs and minions. And they held and were the ruling class. Our people, when the forefathers gave us this great heritage called liberation to build a nation, we cut a pattern of what they looked like. I want you to get
I
this.
hope people get that.
I want you to get this, please.
that's very, very
In
clear.
the absence of seeing what liberation looks like or having a consciousness of what it looks like, the forefathers gave us something precious that they risked their lives and their resources
Absolutely.
and their family
Yes.
to achieve, and they put the gift in our hands. And because we now possess the gift, we didn't sweat for it. We didn't pay the price for it. It was a gift. They said, now go, run, build the Bahamas.
That's right.
Let us build the people. Let us go where we've never gone before. Do what we've never done before. Become what we've never been before.
Absolutely.
Go and do it. But there was no vision.
There was no vision.
Now, please, let me say this. Building a nation encompasses establishing the people's identity, their cultural heritage and underpinnings. Building a nation you're reinforcing core beliefs and core ethical standards beyond money. Building a nation encompasses building the family, building hospitals, building banks, building your food supply, building your educational systems.
Indeed.
It encompasses building out your resources and manning them in such a way that they are for the benefit, growth, and development of your people, not a select few. It was never intended to create a new oligarchy system. We break away from the former oligarchy and we reestablish a new oligarchy
My Lord.
because there was no vision, no pattern to follow, no roadmap to follow, nothing to follow. So we started to replicate and duplicate
Whatever they were doing.
what they were doing.
Oligarchy.
And we created new oligarchs. And it was so amazing because the new oligarchy system in some ways banded with the pre-existing oligarchy, and they all understood we could all make
Some money.
to the detriment of building the nation. Building a nation is about empowerment of people, the creation of systems and institutions that would endure and be sustaining and be strong and be vibrant and build and push into people an identity of who they are. Where are our institutions?
Where are they?
The church, back in the day, was a pivotal, strong tower in the change and transformation that happened in the Bahamas. Where is the church today? In the structure of building a nation. For the most part, we're silent. I say that as part of the church. Our lips are sealed because we replicated and duplicated and took pattern off having in our possession things, not putting value in people. And the very mandate of Scripture demands that you build people. You are servant of people. You're the one who lifts up the fallen, to bind up the broken, to shift their thinking in such a way that they're strong, that they grow, that they understand who they are, as opposed to just giving them an imagery of money and things, and that's what our people now have become. We go after things. We go after money. We're thingsy. We don't want values, hard work, ethics, to tough it out, to think about the next generation, to pay the price in this generation for the betterment of somebody else in the future. We don't want no part of that. But that was exactly what our forefathers did. And they handed something to us.
They paid a sacrifice. They took a risk.
We're not willing to sacrifice for nobody. We have become selfish, self-centered. If I will not do anything for you unless I can see first what's in it
For me.
for me. This is an enigma. It has a corrupting influence. And as I said on the last show, we have now raised up 2, 3, 4 generations of Bahamians that's never seen strength. That's never seen no one take risk to build nothing other than for themselves. And so now we have a generation who've never seen sacrifice on the part of no one other than those persons taking the sacrifice to maximize the value of the money, the lands,
My Lord,
the
my
cars, the houses, and everything they can accumulate. And that is the Bahamas that we now have in the 21st century,
Total
50 plus
deterioration.
years later. We have buildings, but they're not owned by us. We have the hospitals and the banks, but they're not owned by us. Back in the day, it was the People's Penny Savings Bank.
That's right. Absolutely.
The over-the-hill grocery stores. We held the command and the control of our own commerce and our own commercial enterprise. We supported each other.
Very
We
true.
were building a people even back then and didn't understand it. So when the forefathers handed this great privilege to us to now go and take it to the next level, those who rose up and emerged as the new champions of the people started to take care of themselves.
Our dilemma.
Creating entrepreneurial opportunities for all Bahamians. Creating a culture of enterprise. Not a culture of handing my hand out for you to give me something. Building a nation entails local government by now. Come on now.
Yes, I agree.
Flatten the governmental systems into parlaying it out to areas on the islands, and New Providence should be able, communities know what they need better than anyone
Anybody else.
else.
That's right.
And they are capable and able people who can run the budgets and run things. Hello.
Absolutely.
It entails all of that. I'm just giving you a snapshot, a quick notion of what nation building is. It requires leadership. And I said before, I said the first time, our biggest challenge isn't the absence of inward foreign investment. Our biggest challenge is the absence of liberating, empowering, authentic leadership.
That's where the power is.
I say that without contradiction. You could anoint me, lay hands on me, that don't make me a spiritual leader.
Understood.
I could be elected and appointed to a position, that don't make me a leader. I could be given a car, an office, new clothes, a limousine with a chauffeur. That does not make me a leader. The telltale sign of a leader is it's conjoined with the spirit of a vision.
Absolutely.
And it's not about you. It's always about the liberation and elevation of those who you are responsible and accountable for. That's a leader. It's not about your pocketbook and the enrichment of your family, friends, lovers, and cronies. It's about the empowerment and enrichment of the people in mass. You don't do anything unless you see how it will benefit the people and generations of Bahamians yet unborn.
Absolutely. Real leadership. Real
But
vision.
we've lost even a notion of what that looks like. And we keep replicating and duplicating the same quality in people and in their thinking. And we elevate them and push them up to, quote unquote, leaders. And the first thing that happens is they take care of themselves and not the people. It is us who do it. We inflict pain upon ourselves after seeing over and over and over and over and over again the same mirror reflection and the same imagery, and yet still
We still do it.
we inflict pain and injury on ourselves, and we sabotage future generations.
I wonder if they know that sabotage is alive and well for future generations of our country just because we have the wrong thinking, the wrong idea. We've missed the boat, so to speak. We have actually missed the boat because what the forefathers left us,
Yes.
rocks and keys and generations of, we had it made and they gave it to us and said, run with it, run with it,
Yes.
do it, take it to the next level.
You. Yes.
You must do it, but you
Yes.
must remember, you have to build. You got to start
Build.
your nation building.
Yes.
You're building things. You want to see it successful.
Yes.
For future generations down the road, for 50 years down the road.
Yes.
Where are we supposed to be right now? We're supposed to be in heaven right now because
Exactly.
the point is we would have done some things to prepare the way for this particular generation right now. But look at us. We're still where we began.
In many instances.
Way back then.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we have the buildings.
Yes.
Yes, we have, but we have lost all of the real situations where all of those restaurants and all of those clubs and all
Over
of
the
those
hill was a
over the
thriving.
hill, the businesses, We've lost all of those things, and we don't seem to want to get them back. It's like that's for them other people. That's not for us, because we have inherited this thing from the oligarchs. They were supposed to be there. Let them do that. We're going to stay over here and do this. It's like we have no ambition. We don't want to go where we have to go. We don't want the economic empowerment. We don't want to do the things that we have to do. And we must do it, because that is what is required of us by the forefathers.
Yes, it entails risk.
Risk.
We're not willing to take the risk.
My Lord.
If I can't see what's in it for me, forget it. If I can't see how my millions come in, forget it. If I can't see how my children will go to college and my grandchildren will have an inheritance and a trust fund, if I can't see if things go south in the Bahamas and it starts to tank, I have an option out.
My Lord.
But I'm saying to you, I, B. Anthony Young, have to stay. And so I am concerned, very concerned, about what I see. And I'm wondering if the Bahamian people, the people with the spirit of the forefathers in them, I got L.W. Young spirit in me, that's why I speak and talk like
Understood.
this. I'm agitated, I'm perturbed, I'm disturbed. We have come to this in the 21st
But
century.
one of the things that I have to remind you of is that sometimes I think that people just don't care anymore, especially you and I. We from that same particular grouping and bracket and all that kind of stuff, right? And we could understand what we had. When we compare what we had to what we have now, we call this thing a lost place. This place is lost. But you see, they don't even understand how important it is to build the thing where we are in charge. We want to have the economic power. We want to do that. But you just can't be talking that. You've got to actually focus on that thing and make moves to make sure it happens. But you've got to do some other things. You got to have that leadership. You've got to have that vision. You've got to have that focus. And you've got to continuously build, and more building.
Non-negotiable, man.
That's what you got to do.
It got to be non-negotiable. It got to be non-negotiable. In fact, our nation building entails core values. Our core values as a people. If you ask most Bahamians today, what is a Bahamian? It's hard to articulate. It's hard to identify because we're so discombobulated and disconnected and disunited that there is no glue that brings us together other than a color.
My Lord. Not a color.
No. It has to be more than that.
Has to be.
It has to be more than that.
But we seem to be just happy with the color.
Blindly following just the
Lord.
color.
My Lord.
And my connection to you, Steve, my connectivity to you has to be beyond a color. It has to be something, a
must
glue
be.
between us
That's
that,
right.
that makes us uniquely who we are, our DNA.
No.
So all I'm suggesting here, Steve, nation building encompasses all these things and more. And the preamble of the Bahamian Constitution, let me give you an example, expresses what our core values are. The preamble tells
preamble.
us, yes, you see, the two foundational documents that we must look at and examine and really put under the microscope is what our Constitution says and what the Word of God says. Because we say we are abiding by both these principled documents, these overarching documents.
Certainly do.
So
We say it all the time.
It says here. I just want just a short piece of it. The core values as postulated in the in the preamble of the Constitution says, whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of the family of islands, rocks, and keys heralded the rebirth of the New World, and whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, Steve, self-discipline, industry, that's hard work, loyalty, unity. The loyalty and unity is what we owe one to another.
Absolutely.
And an abiding respect, abiding. It's a
Abiding.
perpetual thing that's in us.
That's right.
A respect.
Always happening.
Right. For Christian values and the rule of law. Christian values refer to godly values. And the rule of law means we are all supreme under the law. No one is above the law.
End of story. And that's in the preamble.
Now know ye therefore, we the inheritors and successors of this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God. Listen to that. We went that far. We recognize that God sits supreme.
That's right.
And believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual. So human rights and freedoms ain't nothing new. It's postulated and enshrined
In the Constitution.
in our Constitution.
Absolutely.
So we talking full now, but this special kind of right,
That's right.
it's always been there.
It's always been there.
We do hereby proclaim in solemn praise and establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation.
Sovereign
Nation. You're not subject and under the powerful forces of anything or anyone. External. Sovereign.
Sovereign.
You're not under the force of anything inside or anything outside. You are a sovereign, self-determining people.
That's right.
Okay? Founded, the foundation upon which we stand is spiritual values. Spiritual, godly values. The Constitution and the Word of God. They're conjoined together. We look at it together. In which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation. And do hereby proclaim by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God, under God again,
That's right.
of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, nation building. I saw a document in the archives of a group, 1953, that clearly delineates where we should be going as a people. It articulates clearly, laid it out clearly. I sent a copy to you. Yeah,
I got
it
a
lays out clearly where we ought to be going. In fact, I believe it's the Tribune's Latin piece, Quo Vadis, Bahamas, which means, where are you going?
It's a serious thing.
Check yourself. With the roadmap, the blueprints. Where
Are we going?
are we going? It should be in the direction of nation building.
This is a very serious thing, you know. People,
Building our people.
Yeah. People.
Okay? When I go through my old haunts through Lewis Street West, and I go down, I just walk through Hay Street, and Broome Street, and Young Street, and Odell Corner, and I go in Baintown, I just go, dress normal, take a walk to feel what's happening on the ground with our people. I mean, many of them ain't our people per se, but they've been here long enough, we could call them our people. But people suffering.
I know.
They're in pain. They're in torment for lack of opportunity.
You go down through Lewis Street West,
Yeah, man.
where Phil Collymore used to
Yeah,
live.
well, you man, Mr. Bain, right? Music team was on the corner, ain't there now? St. Agnes School, right across the street.
Right.
I still see in the wall, I used to knock my ball off the wall with my mitt, a name etched in the cement when it was fresh, Pat. P-A-T, it's still there.
Wow.
It's still there. And I'm 70 years old. Pat still on the wall.
Pat was it.
Pat was there.
Pat still
Somebody there. And then I walked the St. Agnes school wall straight down. It goes right to Southern Recreation, which they
correct.
remodeled. And I'd look and I walk around and I see the places I used to be as a boy. The old Capitol Theater that
Yeah.
was there, now it's Pewter Bakery.
That's where I used to
you
be
know,
too.
you know,
Every
Miss
Saturday.
Tiny in the little shop that used to sell the muffin and the butterfly and the cookies.
That's right.
And the things, and then right down the road is the palm tree.
Palm tree,
The
that's
Russell's
right.
palm
The
tree.
hamburger, yeah.
And hamburgers, and you know, I walk and I see that we have not elevated. You know, the properties in that area, when you look at the proximity from to Bay Street, is very valuable.
Very.
There's something called regentrification.
That's right.
To build out and bring commerce back to the area.
Yeah, they
No
were talking-
plan to do that.
They were talking about that for
Come
quite
on
a number of
now,
years.
talk to me, man.
I remember the guy came in from Costa Rica. He was one of the presidents of Costa Rica one time, and he came here some years ago. And I remember he came down Blue Hill Road and he looked at all these things, all the side cafes and
Yes.
all
There's
the-
historical
he wanted to-
buildings.
Nothing ever happened.
You know, you can look at making the people entrepreneurs, bringing the traffic that we now have 5, 7, 10 cruise ships each time.
That's right.
You know, over the hill.
Nothing
you
happens over the hill.
Come on, man. We ain't bringing the dollars. We ain't bringing the money. So the people over there moving out and taking the money.
My Lord. See, that's why. That's
you
why.
have to create opportunities for people to give them alternatives. You have to take care of your people, because all you're doing, even though I might go in Life at Key eventually, they come in Life at Key, jump in my wall looking for me. I ain't gonna be safe in the future. And you have to see
dangerous
that
place.
ahead of time. Okay? Most of us believe because we got a couple of $1 million or 50 million, which we hide away and we behind the wall, we want to forget where we came from. But to forget where you came from is forgetting your roots. The people who are there that you have an obligation to go back and bring them not out of the area, but up in terms of economic liberation and economic opportunities and economic freedom.
Well, I say again, we missed the boat. No one said anything to us. We just, you said it right, you know. We copied what those other guys were doing because we had no examples. There was nothing in the front of us in our consciousness that made us understand that you got to do it this particular way now. You're on your own and you must do it this particular way. What we did, we say, boy, we better copy this, we better copy that. And we did that. And the perpetration of that copying thing has played itself all over again, even into this generation right now. And here we are, still stuck in the mud, still can't get no
Still
place.
enslaved.
Nobody knows what's going on with us.
And no one is emerging to shift the environment, to shift the landscape, to give a transformative payload in that environment that energize people, because people know they ain't where they need to be. They're feeling it. They're hurting. They're pained. Electricity bill going up, this bill going up, other bills going up. There's this incessant increase that the people have to carry. And that has to be a concern, a vital concern of all of us.
It is a concern of myself and many like myself who want to see us really, we've been saying it for a long time, let us build a nation, but the right thing to say is really, let us do nation building. Let us continue to build a nation, and it's called nation building and in the whole situation, because if we don't do that, if we lose track of what we're supposed to be doing, and it's still not too late to do this. See, we at a point now where it's 50 years since independence. This is a good point to begin, you know. It's a good point to begin, even though it's a long time coming, it's a long time late, and we are now just bogged down in our ways of just segregation and everything else, and we don't even know exactly what time it is no more. The point is this: if we start all over again, we can now qualify the philosophy of let us do this. This is how we build a nation. This is how we're going to do it. You got to get all these fellas together. I've got to get all these people together and of a right mind, make sure that they understand that this is what it used to be. We've got to do a little bit of making sure they understand the history of the place,
Yes.
making sure they understand what was that. Grandstand was just a thriving place, as you said.
Mecca.
I mean, everything happened in Grandstown. You had to go to Grandstown if you were saying something.
Exactly.
You didn't go to Bay Street. Bay Street was nothing really, you know. But we made it something because what they did, they decided that let all the women come down to Bay Street for the specials, and they got their straw bags, and they went over that hill, and they went to the city market and then places like that, and that's what they did. So the money started to shift. The money started to go that way to the north. And what happened was that the monies came out of our economy and
The
into
local
their
economy. Exactly.
That's what actually happened.
The money's not turning around because there is no businesses around, and the businesses that are over the hill, guess who owned them?
Them people do. 'Cause
Please understand.
Well, you see what they did? They decided that because of the structuring of the act of town planning and the rest of it, they were not supposed to be certain miles over the hill and doing certain things like restaurants and things. But they have beat that up. They run that, and they came over the hill, and they did all the Marathon Mall and all them things over the hill. See, those things are actually things that happen. That is supposed to be space for us to do other things with. But you see, they are the Marathon Mall, they're the Town Center Mall. That's what happened. And all of the shops were moved on the Carmichael Road. That's where they are now.
The keepers of the gate, into whose hands the wealth of the nation,
The wealth of the nation.
and the future of the nation were given, did not understand their responsibility to the future.
That's good. That's saying it. You're saying it right.
Did not understand what it really meant. Thought it was about, okay, let me now have what I didn't have before, to the exclusion of all of us. See, not for all of us, but somewhat it all. Now, I want to tell you this too, Steve. I want to show you the system that the previous oligarchs used, and show you how we've just taken that out of their playbook, and we do the same thing now. First, they used to control the resources. Back then, what are the resources? The people, the national resources, the land resources, the economy, the legal structure, systems. They control that. Then they commanded control of the social, political, the institutions, and the economic landscape. Then they punished any opposition, any dissident voices. They were cut off. You were sabotaged, and your economic sustainability became questionable because you were penalized.
Absolutely.
Sounding familiar? Let me go on. So that was a form of punitive punishment. Then the extraction and the hoarding of the resources and wealth for family, friends, lovers, and cronies. Sound familiar?
Very familiar.
And then some repatriated it into other jurisdictions, eh?
That's what they
Huh?
did.
To foreign bank accounts and appoint other persons as fiduciary surrogates to hold their wealth.
My Lord.
And it ultimately developed into an oligarchy of family, friends, cronies, lovers, perpetuating a system of control and manipulation for long-term sustainability.
Long term.
Yes. Far from the requirement of building a nation. Ain't on the agenda.
So they hijacked the whole thing.
Ain't on the agenda. And if you look at the other Caribbean countries, because they all came out of a colonial system, a colonial past, a colonial history. Look at Jamaica. Look at the other countries. It's the same playbook, played all over again. My brother, one must begin to see the thing for what it really is.
Yes,
It's
we
a
have to.
sickness.
It's a sickness.
And we're not here bashing people.
No.
We're decrying a system that's broken, that's never worked to liberate the people known as Bahamians and to build a nation. It's broken.
It is.
And we
Badly
keep
broken.
replicating and duplicating and perpetuating it.
But we're never gonna get it right because the system is broken,
Yes,
and we need to fix the
the
system.
problem is the system. And the system has to be commanded by a new spirit of leadership.
That's right.
It's a new spirit. And that new spirit, I'm saying to you, can only be under the orchestration of the Master himself, God, who is the Alpha leader. Will give you a new spirit, a new heart, and a new mind, not for yourself, but to take the shackles off your people and set them free. To be all they can be, to grow, to prosper in their Bahamaland. They got nowhere else to go. Steve, tell me where else you can go.
Nowhere else.
Tell me where else you can go.
You can't go nowhere else.
Tell me.
I don't know. There's nowhere else to go. We have nowhere to turn.
This is our home.
This is ours.
This is our heritage.
I don't even think about going anyplace else. We're gonna have to get this right.
We must fix what's broken.
We're talking today with Mr. Bernard Young about nation building. The things that he has said so far about nation building should boggle your mind. Some of you who are younger and don't understand what he has been saying, we have a thriving economy here on Grantstown and other areas of this country, that we had owned this economy. We owned it.
Right.
Our forefathers, our grandmothers and great-grandmothers, they owned the economy. Could you imagine owning the economy? All the dollars flowed with them.
Economy. Yes. Over the hill. Yes.
And my friends, we don't have anything to show for it. Everybody is now hustling. Why are you hustling? You used to own that place. It's still there, But here it is. We've got to have a change of our minds, a change of our spirits to know that this is about nation building, and we better get onto it because our children, the future of this country, means our children. Exactly. And they're not going to have a good time at all. In fact, things are getting so bad now, we have other people who want to take over. That's how it is.
Absolutely.
There are other people who come into this country illegally, legally, but they want to take over. That's how bad. We've deteriorated that badly. Gone are the days of those wonderful times what they had at the Capitol and the Savoy theaters and all those places, even though they had some mix-up of those
Cinema.
things. Yeah, the cinema. Gone are those
Paul
days.
Mayers.
Paul Mayers and Peanuts Taylor,
The
all these-
Zanzibar.
everybody. The Zanzibar, that's right.
Yes. Drum.
The Drum Beat Club.
Cat and fiddle.
Cat and Fiddle. See,
Lemon tree.
we owned everything. Why can't we get it back?
Club Blue Note.
We can get it back, But you see, we've got to put some energy into this thing. We've got to have the right spirit.
Spirit. It is a spirit thing.
It's a spirit thing.
Yes, sir.
And you've got to make sure that you have embodied this kind of thing, what's called vision
Yes.
and leadership.
Yes, sir.
They're big words,
Yes, sir.
You got to understand what that means. And if you do that, maybe we could start the process. You said earlier, the Lord will send somebody.
Yes.
Is there a man that can be sent? Is there a woman that can be sent? Is there anybody that can be sent to rescue us from our fallen peace?
Right. Right.
Our forefathers have done everything they possibly could. They have written a wonderful constitution. It's so brilliant, it will make you...
Yes.
Listen, these guys were the best. And they were practicing people who just wanted to make sure that they're building a country. But they had a theme in mind. Their theme was this: we're building a nation.
Yes.
See, these guys who came up afterward, they decided that they can be a part of the old system. And that old system
Say
threw them off.
Bill Self.
They built themselves. And as a result of it, it ain't no sense we cry about it now, The point is, that's what they did. Now, we can change that. The new generation can change that in this country.
Yes.
All of you young men and women out there who are understanding what we're saying today, you've got to make that commitment today
Step
to
up.
change it.
Step
You guys got to come back home from school and change this thing, because we are the inheritors of this land.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about it from an immigration point of view that people can take it. I'm talking about you are supposed to be running this country. You are supposed to be in charge of this country. You are supposed to be the people who are the people of economics in this country.
Yes.
But you seem to be too lazy, and the others are just taking advantage of you just because they know that you're lazy. They know that you don't read. They know that you're not checking for anything, and they know that you just want hustle. So you give them $1.
Yes.
My Lord.
Steve, we've
Come
not,
now.
Yes. We've not empowered our younger people with a sense of urgency, with a sense of drive and motivation. They've been given stuff, but not been given values
That's right.
and character. We didn't build character in
No, sir.
them.
No, sir.
We gave them things, and now they thingsy, like we are thingsy.
Yeah.
And we don't have, at
People
this stage
say,
of the game,
like,
we don't have the
thingsy.
drive or motivation or desire to take any risk for
None.
nothing
None.
and no one, even to the detriment of the country's failure in the future.
My Lord, that's a heavy statement. Even with the detriment of the country's failure in the future, we have to make that commitment. We're not. You've got to be sober, my friends. I tell you, every day I come to this station, I say to you got to be sober. Be sober-minded. Know what you're dealing with. Know what you have to do.
Yes.
It doesn't just happen like that. It just doesn't happen all of a sudden. Somebody will have mercy on you and give you a blessing. Listen, you got to work for it. You got to put your muscle into it. You've got to make sure that you know where every dollar is and how every dollar is going to count. You've got to do that.
Gotta be hungry, man.
You got to be hungry.
Yes.
You want to be hungry.
Yes.
You want to try some new things.
Yes.
And you've got to be taking risk.
Yes.
That's what the forefathers did, They took risk. When they sat down, they write that thing, and they went. I could imagine they had many days of sitting down, writing that, and saying, "This is what you got. No, we have to say it like this. You can't say that. You got to say that because we have to cover this, that, and that, and that." And they thought about it. They thought about what they were doing.
Yes. When
That's
them-
why we have a constitution
Yes.
today.
Yes.
That
Yes.
stands supreme in our
That's
land.
right. That's right. That's right. When them fellas marched, Steve, they took risk. The mace out of the window was a risk.
A risk.
It took big gonads
Yes,
to take and make a statement.
that's right.
Risk. No one's willing to take risk.
That's
Everyone's petrified, afraid, intimidated. Some friends of mine, my age group, they say, it's better to just let sleeping dogs lie.
Sleeping dogs
yeah,
lie.
yeah. But we're heading over the cliff,
That's what we're doing.
and all you hear is forward, be a team player, and there's the imminent cliff.
My Lord. Right in your face.
Come on, man.
Oh, Lord. help us.
Where's our spirit? What has happened to our spirit? The
Lost our spirits.
Bahamians had a spirit
And that spirit was.
that didn't give up.
Yes, man. That
was willing to
that
fight,
Was a real
that was
spirit.
willing to take
you
the
know,
risk.
All of these fellas, who you see on the scene now, they had mothers and fathers who are from the old school who put that spirit in them. A lot of young boys, even people like Alfred Sayers and them, they were people who came up with their mother up top. And they had the spirit to do something extraordinary. And they did it,
Gotta take risk.
They did it. Why can't we do it? We have the same thing here. Nothing has changed. We have the same thing here. We can do this.
Steve, there's a writing that says, "He is not worthy of the honeycomb
My Lord.
who shuns the hive only because the bees have stings." That is our problem.
Yes, yes.
We don't want to take no risk. But know this. Frederick Douglass said it, and it's so true.
My man, Frederick Douglass.
Power concedes nothing
That's right.
without a demand.
That's right.
It never has, and it never will. If we're going to pivot, if we're going to shift this thing, if we're going to save the day for future generations of Bahamians, we must do it now.
Gotta happen now, today. You may not even feel it. You may not even see it. But you must take that stand now and do it. You have to.
Yeah. If you want the
It's for the likelihood of your children's future.
exactly,
And all your great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-grandchildren.
yes.
Because you can have them.
You remember back in the day, talk about the square deal.
Square deal. I remember the square
Remember
deal.
this talk with it?
Square
what
deal.
the square deal is inculcating in your mind.
No.
Everything on the table, and every participant
That's right.
gets the opportunity to have their fair share of what's
Square
on the
deal.
table.
It's a square
Nothing
deal.
under the table.
Square deal.
Nothing. That's what we're talking about.
Square deal.
Square. You leave, win, win. You win, I win, we all win. It ain't 10 for you and 1 for me.
No, sir.
We all have equal opportunity.
Equal
But
across
it
the
takes
board.
leadership. Leadership. The greatest challenge is leadership.
My Lord. We can't say that enough. Leadership.
Leadership.
It's our greatest
I
challenge.
say it everywhere I go. Our problem is leadership.
All it is,
That's the biggest problem.
Let me ask you, can the Lord just send us a leader who just knows what to do? I'm sure he can do it. But you see, you need leadership. Leadership is what's lacking in the Bahamas. Leadership is what got us in the rogue that we're in right now, because there is nothing, no visionary leadership. There's nothing you could put your hand on that can make you understand that now that's leadership. This is a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, here we go in the right direction. That kind of stuff. Leadership.
Leadership comes from God. He is the Alpha leader. And he dispenses that spirit to individuals and is always given for one single purpose alone: to liberate.
To liberate. You have to make
Not incarcerate,
people be liberated.
not to limit, but to take the bounds off, to take the chains off, to liberate. Leadership is about liberation. Liberating leadership. People to be more than they can ever dream to be, to have more than they can ever dream to have, to open up new doors of potential and opportunities for your people, because once those doors are open and they know how to feed and fish for themselves, it is a perpetual thing that's in their psychic, and they pass it on to their children.
Absolutely.
Not
That's what happens.
dependency. You don't want a dependency,
No.
people.
You must not be a beggar. You must be one who is going to make sure it happens for you, your children, and everybody else,
Exactly.
and all the people around you, because that is what the Spirit of God is. It's about making sure that you have that boldness and heart and so much for heart, but it has to come out of you and spread itself around.
Right.
That's what the Creator is
That's
all
what
about.
it's about, really. That's what it's really about. So we're talking about a God thing in so many different ways.
Yes.
And we're saying the God thing is absent, and we have to check ourselves.
We're going to talk about that some more in a minute. What I'm going to do, I want to get into the church part of it, because I think, see, you dealt with the church before, but you see, the church has to be dealt with in such a way that,
Yes.
I know it's very, very, could be troublesome to do it, but you see, you have to put them on their,
Yes.
they put them on the right.
On notice.
Yes, they got to be put on notice, because the church has failed us. That
failed
high
us.
tower that we looked to
Exactly.
years ago, it's failed us. It's failed us. We've begun this whole thing about prosperity gospel and that kind of stuff. It is just
Well,
thrown us.
even that is
thrown-
about things.
thrown
It's
us-
thingsy.
Yes, it's thrown us for a loop. It's thrown
When,
us
when
for a
we keep
loop.
teaching people things, not core values.
No.
Not spirit.
It got to be core
Not
values.
strength.
That's what it got to
Not
be.
character. God is about building character in
right.
you.
That's-
So that when the waves come and the tempests roll and the thunder and
You
the
can
lightning
stand.
flash, you're standing because you're principled
Mm-hmm.
and principle driven.
We're going to run to a break. Let's take a break, Stevie, pay some bills, and we'll get out of here for 7 o'clock for sure. But let's pay some bills right now. This is Hard Copy. We're talking today with Mr. Bernard Young. I like to call him Professor. He's here today with us today on a second show, and it's always a dynamic show because we're talking today about nation building, and we need it in the Bahamas.
For 25 years, Advantage Insurance has provided coverage for your most prized possessions, offering insurance plans to cover your vehicle, home, business, and boat with customized options that work with your budget. Now, Advantage says thank you to all our loyal customers and business partners over the past 25 years. Call 356-0285 or visit Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue today. When every dollar counts, count on Advantage. Celebrating 25 years of service.
People, what you thinking? We want something different. People, what you wanting? We want local government. I can tell them no more slunking. We want to see it function. I can tell them no more joke. I forgot. Going down Blue Hill Road, going down Village Road, going down Nassau Road. We want local government. We want local government. Listen road, we want local government. Share the love, we want local government. We are called for local government. Sign the petition and find out more information at risebahamas.net.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
My dad has been there since I can remember. My shoulder to cry on and my biggest fan. So I'll cherish him this Father's Day with the gift of fragrance. Celebrate your kings this month at the Perfume Bar with 15% off your second fragrance. My dad, my king is worth everything when I shop at the Perfume Bar. Visit one of our locations this Father's Day.
I got all the answers to your questions.
Come on down and get moving to Rocky Farms Nursery and cash in on a variety of seedlings and flowering plants for the home and the office. Rocky Farms Nursery is the choice of so many people around the Bahamas, and they have just what you are looking for. Seedlings, vegetables, and flowering plants of all types. You name it and they've got it. beets, tomatoes, celery, sweet peppers, hot peppers, cucumbers, and all those items to make your vegetable garden pop and come alive. Rocky Farms also have a variety of fruit trees from avocado, plums, guavas, whatever you need, they've got it at Rocky Farms Nursery, located Seabridge Lane, Fox Hill. And you've got to see the line of flowering trees and plants. Stop by today and say the magic words. I heard about the ad on Rocky Farms on Peace FM. Rocky Farms Nursery, telephone 324-1239.
Central Supercenter, your one-stop shop for all your wholesale and restaurant supplies. We also offer the best deals in meats, groceries, seafood, and household products. We pride ourselves on making shopping convenient for you. Visit our store today, East Street North, Mason Addition, or place your order via our website at www.centralsupercenter.com or download our mobile app from the Play Store. That's Central Supercenter, located East Street North, Mason Addition. We've got it all, and we also ship to the Family Islands. If you want it done right the first time, you want Executive Printers to work for you. At Executive Printers, we do it all. Printing of posters, business cards, flyers, business and corporate checks with all the necessary security features. We print display advertisement posters in every size, full color, and at the most affordable prices guaranteed. Call Executive Printers today at 393-5011 or email your orders in at sales@epbahamas.com. Executive Printers on Jerome Avenue.
Saving money is super easy when you shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounce, $1.59. Hunt's ketchup, 32 ounce, $2.89. Sweet Gala apples, 3 for 99 cents. Pick Sweet mixed vegetables or California blend, 28 ounce, $4.59. Bone-in chicken breast, $1.99 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Steve McKinney here to tell you all about the Platinum Pastries and Deli. Platinum Pastries and Deli store is located on Carmichael Road, opposite Inland Revenue in the Old Dad Plaza. Here's what you get at Platinum Pastries and Deli. You can get homemade bread, loaves, and rolls, pies, pastries, beef patties, vegetable patties, and always delicious conch patties. You gotta try conch patties today. Go down and check them out right now at Platinum Pastries and Delis on Carmichael Road in the Old Dad Plaza. They also sell cakes, sandwiches, ice cream, fruits, and a whole lot more. They have over 60 delicious items to choose from, including your favorite beverage. You can call them by dialing 341-8522 or 466-8522 for delivery. Platinum Pastries and Deli. Come and taste the difference in the Bahamas.
Big up yourself, man. It's the Steve McKinney Show on Bahamas Live.
Yeah, man. Put on your thinking caps, man.
Give it up.
Feel him in the one drop. You still got time to rock. You pick up your telephone. We all go to the throne. Steve McKinney bringing us, fighting against the system, making a better way. As we struggle day by day, sing it. I know y'all never let us down. Oh no, talking with God. I know y'all never let us down. Oh no, look at him. They make the world so hard, You got people fighting. They make the world so cold. Every day, people are dying. Dread, hunger, starvation, salvation. Read it in Revelation. You'll find your redemptions. You can give us the teachings of His Majesty. We don't want no devil philosophy. Tell them, Steve, give us Bahamas alive. We don't want no devil philosophy.
$6:30 on the button. That's what it is right now on Hot Copy today. And we welcome you on board today. If you want to call us, you can call us. But I know that a lot of you will want to just listen to what Mr. Bernard Young is saying today, because he's talking about nation building, and we've incorporated a number of things into this whole idea and aspects of nation building. It depends upon what you want to do as well. He talked about all those wonderful places we had back then. And now we can do those same things again. All the nightclubs from Cat and Fiddle right down to the Zanzibar. We talked about those things, and these things can happen again. We've still got the grandchildren of these men who, in fact, were there. Freddie Munnings Jr., Freddie Munnings, Raphael Munnings, all these people, they're still around, you know. But they've sold that place now to Commonwealth Bank, and that's where Commonwealth Bank used to be down there on Nassau Street. See, all of these things we can still do. We've still got people like Aristo and them, and Aristo and them have been able to do a number of things with the entertainment and all that, but we don't have any clubs. We don't have any place for night spots and that kind of thing, and the tourists really need some place to go to.
Over the
but
hill.
They can't go anywhere because the boats, the big ships keep them on their board. And I was learning some stuff yesterday, man. They told me that everything that you can look for over the hill, they have it right on the ship. Yeah. Everything, all of the night spots and stuff where the taxi driver's going to go and pick up tours and make sure that people are going around to see certain things. Yeah. They've closed all that down. They don't. That's not existing right now. From the port has been coming. You see, we are just going backward and more every single day because we don't have the vision. We don't have the leadership. And these people have allowed these others to just come and do what they feel like doing. Mind you, some of them are Bahamians, you know. They are Bahamians, and I'm not hitting them as Bahamians, but the point is this. You've got to be thinking, as we've been saying here, a double dose of spirituality. The spirit has to be in you to do things for other people to make sure that everyone is going to get a play. You cannot be cutting this out and cutting that out, and now everything is nowhere the taxi drivers can get a play, nowhere that people can get a play, and they are just without. And in a minute or two, they'll be making noise around the government's head that they can't even get no fare. You watch and see. That's going to happen because everybody just looking out for themselves and looking out for their family, friends, and lovers and cronies. That's what's happening, you know. That's what is happening. But we cannot just keep complaining about it. We've got to do something about it. That's right. What are we going to do about it? Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? I asked you that today. That's your thought for the night. Think about it this weekend. And as I talked here, we wanted to look at this whole matter about
the role of the church.
The role of the church.
Yes.
You know, we used to have a big-time church in this country. The church was at the centerpiece of everything in this town.
Yes.
We may not have had a bureaucracy or that kind of thing, but the point is this. The church was the conscience of the nation.
People. Yes. Yes.
And you didn't do anything without the church. Yes. But this was the real church, the real church who had meaning and who brought essence to the whole situation of spirituality and everything else. Right. It was a real church. It wasn't a fakey church. It wasn't a jokey church. It wasn't a play church. It wasn't a fly-by-night church. This was the real church.
Church of Jesus Christ.
And now we're looking at it again because we need a real church who is going to say this is what it should be and stand up for what they believe and say this is the church now. And we want to have our say. We got a bunch of fellas right now, Glenn Rowland Company. They've been doing a very good job, based upon the independence of this country, trying to bring the kind of flavor and to the aspect of the church and the role that it should be playing, and that's good. and I encourage that. But you see, you need to have the body of Christ, that whole church,
Yes.
looking at it from a point of view that, boy, you can't really do them in the church. Boy, you got to see what the church say. What the church say with that? That's what we need the political people to always be in mind of, ever present. I think the church may make some noise with that. I think we better watch that, because the church is non-existent. You know why? Because they've made themselves so. They've been falling after things. They're too thingsy.
Yes.
They want prosperity gospel. They're too thingsy. There's not the heart and soul of the church anymore. The soul used to be of making sure that you got to save souls and tell them about the goodness of God and how God can work miracles and all the abundance of work and build up the man, build up the whole man.
Yes, sir.
But now, we're playing church. Unfortunately, we're playing church. I want to ask you,
Yes.
how do we get away from playing church? In fact, how do we get away from playing all these games that we've been playing in this country?
Right.
Go ahead for me.
I would wish, first of all, to say very categorically, and this is not all of the church, but the majority of the church, okay? I don't want to give the impression that every piece, iota of the church is, in fact, jaundiced or diseased. But the church, the majority of the church is compromised on the truth, compromised on not being able to stand, compromised in taking sides and being silent when they ought to be speaking. The church is compromised on so many national critical issues when the church in hitherto days was the conscience of the nation. The church in hitherto days was responsible for ensuring that a spiritual perspective that was God-driven and God-centered remained in the heart and minds and life and witness of the people. The true church that was able to be in the life of people who didn't have much, but they had plenty because they had something in them, something inside so strong that allowed them to go through everything that life threw at them.
Understood.
They stood. They had character. They could take a licking and keep on ticking, and their lives were not predicated upon what amount of money I got or what you got. It was the church that we all came up under, where there was respect, where there was order, structure, discipline, character, hard work. That church is the church that Christ died to preserve. We've lost it in the spirit of the people. And as I said, having lost it, we've raised up spiritual leaders that call themselves spiritual leaders that are not led by God's Spirit,
My Lord.
but by the spirit of money and the spirit of greed and the spirit of what is convenient to be done.
My Lord.
And it's affected the lives of God's people. And there is no leadership. So this leadership problem is wide. This leadership problem is wide. It's big. It's across the expanse of every system and institution of the country. It's just not in one area, central government. No. It's in business. It's in law enforcement. It's in our legal system and institutions.
All over.
It's in our educational system. It's in every facet and iota of our existence. We lack leadership. and leadership is under the provincial dominion and care of Almighty God.
My Lord. I've got a call here on the telephone line. Let's go to the call and see what's happening here. Hard copy. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
A pleasant good afternoon to you, Mr. McKinney, and your guests.
Thank you very much.
I am very, very pleased to listen to you guys today because it is so true. It is very true. The church, and this is a really good topic, the church for a long time has not speak truth, honesty, with honesty, and with strength. But then we have to bear in mind that the church, it's only a building, because we keep saying church, is the voice of the people in that building that speaks for the voice of God, with the voice of God. Mm-hmm. But the church is just a building. And for a long time, the church has failed us because they have. The church has now turned their back on spirituality for Christianity. Christianity strips us away from our spirituality, which is the road to restoration.
Absolutely.
But the church is so important. But like your guest said, and he's so true, we have, when whoring with everything besides the Spirit of the living God, they went after money. And this is the reason why the LGBT could stand in the Bahamas and play a part. Where is the Christian leaders? Why is everybody quiet? All of these, like the gentleman said, one time ago, you could go to church and you feel the Spirit of God moving. Nobody's looking around because everybody was focused on the man of God, speaking the word of God. Now you go to church, everybody's going to show off their dress or their car and their hairdo. They're looking around. We have lost interest with the Spirit of the living God. We have lost it. Everybody wants to get up in church and speak. Like the gentleman said, the pastors of the church should really be ashamed of themselves. The pastors of their building should be ashamed of themselves. There's too many things going on in this country that the church is silent of. You brought a lady from the United States to come here to smile, and you call us a Christian nation? We're supposed to be, as a Christian nation, an example to the world.
Right.
A nation that God chose, a nation that God kept. Look at all the disasters other countries had. We were spared. This is a nation that God spared. And we're doing things and think that we're not going to pay the price. We're going to pay the price. And the thing is, the head is doing this, but the tail, which is us, is going to feel the pinch of what the head do.
Very true.
This gentleman is so right, Mr. McKinney. You really bring on some really timely message, because this is a message today on your show. This is the message for the Bahamian people, and we need to rise. We really need to rise up, because you know what? We have replaced spirituality for Christianity. God dwells in the spirit. He's a spirit, but we have cast him aside for our way. And you know, the church has to remember, the strongest people are not those who show strength, because anybody can show strength. But it's for those who win battles. What battles has the church has won lately? The LGB is in here. The people are coming in and taking over the land. Nobody's saying nothing. The church is silent. What battle has the church won in a long time? Nothing. Zip. Zero. They just have their mouth zipped. Why? Because they are all partake of that table where the sinner said. Have a great day, Mr. McKinney.
Thank you very much. Very much. Thank you very much. My goodness.
You know, Steve, I would wish to reiterate this truth. The church, the true church of Jesus Christ, the ecclesia, those who were called out by the Spirit of God in the world, but not of the world's systems and partaking of the world's spirit. But you are guided by a different spirit. It's not the building, as the lady said. It's not the sanctuaries that people have built and spent millions of dollars for, and causing a whole lot of craziness because they build the institutions and it's in their families.
Yeah, they're too thingsy.
Yeah. The true church is the people of God in whom God's Spirit tabernacles, and God's Spirit is the driving force in you that determines how you think, how you behave, how you carry yourself, your belief system, and what you stand on. And you stand on truth. And you're not so concerned about what other people think, say, or do, as long as you are true to Him to whom you belong. That's the true church. And that's the church that gave people the energy and the spirit to stand even against the demagogue, even against hard times, even against lack. That's missing. And most of the spiritual leaders are compromised. And when you're compromised, you cannot speak. You have no authority to speak.
You speak, they'll tell you, shut up your mouth. You don't know what you're talking
Because people know your duplicitous behavior.
Absolutely.
They know you're double tongued. They know you're lying. That you're untruthful. So it's best not to
speak. Hard copy, how are you? Peace and love, all is well.
Going to your guest studio, and this conversation is a very salient and very important one, especially.
Mr. Bernard Young is his name. Mr. Bernard Young.
Bernard Young. Good afternoon, good evening to you. Let me just say this very quickly, Steve. The previous caller, she was spot on all cylinders. When you find that the church seems ineffective in the midst of Satan, it speaks volumes. Right now, as it stands, the church is actually the moral compass of the world. They represent the moral compass of the world. And when you have pastors or so-called pastors who are even in the midst of evil, who seem to either be complicit or seem to be compromised.
Yes.
We're in the midst of evil. And in other words, what I'm saying is the power of Jesus Christ that it should have been bestowed upon them. They're supposed to be able to go in the wicked places and the high places and create the type of changes that Christ actually wants for those areas. And when it seems as if these persons go into these areas and seem to be ineffective, seem as if they are not pronouncing what God says the Lord, and would not do what the Scripture says to do, then it simply means that those persons who say that they represent Christ does not represent Christ. And so I'll close on this one very salient note. We have many pastors in our parliament today. Sit in those places and see wrong being done, and you cannot hear a peep or squeak from them. The church is supposed to be so powerful, back in the days, whereas the voice of the church makes governments shake, makes government change direction, makes leaders do the things as according or prescribed by the word. But yet these so-called pastors in our parliament seems to be very ineffective. So I'm trying to figure out why are they calling themselves pastors if they're not really representing what I would term, in my own humble view, the true spirit of what God is all about. They're supposed to go in there and make a difference. I see no difference. And this is why the country is off course. This is why the country is suffering, because the evil that has prevailed over this land is continuing because the bastion of those who are supposed to represent Christ, who are supposed to bring the change in this land, is so ineffective that it leaves all of us out here to hang out to dry. So I'll close on that note. I will look forward to hearing the voice of the learned guest in studio as far as what I am proclaiming here today, and see what is our next move in this country to restore Christ and restore Christianity. I mean, you know, and just before I close here, that pride flag flying in our country, that should have never happened. If we were following Christ and you're in a Christian nation, there's no way that was supposed to happen. But anyway, I'll close on that note. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. I believe we want to be like the other people in the world. We want to be a part of America and Canada and everybody else. And we have a uniqueness about us, but we have forgotten what the preamble said.
Yes.
We've forgotten how many times the leaders of our country from way back then were talking about God, the centeredness of God, the supremacy of God. God.
Yes.
We forgot it.
Yes.
And so we are now doing other things that other nations do because we want to come along to be along. We want to have a good time with them and let everybody be one big happy family and just fool one another. But that is what it is. That is what it is.
Steve, we have lost our identity. Remember, I started out earlier telling you a telltale sign of a lost people is that you lose your identity. Who you really are, you forget. We've raised up a generation with no identity because the identity they have is an identity of things. You have worth and value based on what you got, not on the spirit that's driving you inside that tests your character and your entrail of what's in you to stand even in the face of being tempted to take something on the side. You say, no, what is in me cannot be compromised, and the church is compromised. We know that. In fact, I would tell you this. One text comes to mind. Matthew 5:13. It simply says, it is speaking to us, the people in whom the Spirit of God tabernacles, that church. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has lost its savor, savor is having the capacity to be salt, to be able to differentiate tastes, to be able to preserve things from decay.
That's right.
That's what salt does, eh? When you put a little salt in the egg, you could taste the egg. Without the salt, the egg has no taste.
That's right.
This is a reminder. Don't forget. You're the salt of the earth. The earth needs you. So when you're not the salt of the earth has nothing by which it can be gauged and guided and led. It's you.
That's some heavy stuff.
But if the salt has lost its savor, how shall the earth be salted? The salt is therefore good for nothing, only to be cast out and trodden under the foot of men. It says it. In other words, if you're not functioning as salt, if you're not doing what salt ought to do, if you're compromised, you are rejected by God.
Absolutely.
And you have no credence. You have no standing. You could call yourself church.
But you ain't no church.
But you're not church in the context of determining the direction of a nation and a people. You have no power to give people strength and cause them, even in a tough situation, to hang on in there.
Well, boy, listen. Today, it's been a wonderful day, and too bad we've got to go, but we close the chapter there. Just keep our page open, because when we come back, we're going to continue. We are talking about nation building, friends. People, we are talking about nation building. That includes me, that includes you, that includes your children and your children's children. Nation building. We've got to build this nation. That's what we've got to do. And it just doesn't start by you doing something nice today. You've got to do this every day because you've got to have the Spirit of God in you. You've got to do it the right way. This is now our time to shine and to show what we really are all about. This is the true essence of who we are as a people of Bahamian culture. Yes. This is who we are.
Yes.
These places were founded for us and they had to take risk. They took that risk
Yes.
to make it happen, and they told us to run with it. But what we did, we looked back and we saw that salt, like the fellow's wife, Lot's wife, and we wanted to go back and be like that. And so they did something that was very, very damaging to the future of the Bahamas.
Exactly.
And they looked back and they said, the oligarchs, they were the ones who did this. We should do it just like they do it. So we didn't change. That's what happened. We didn't change.
Yes.
We had a new beginning, but we did not change.
And the Spirit of God is peeling out today. You said it earlier. Who shall go for us? Who shall we send?
That's right.
That's the question. That is the question in the moment. Who's going to take the risk and stand up and say, here I am.
Send me. Send me.
I'll go. I'll take the risk. I'll take the hit.
Amen, brother.
I'll go on the cross. I'll be the one take up my line and destroy and pull the rug out from under. I'll take the risk like our forefathers did. They took the risk. None of us today are willing to take the risk for the future.
Is there but one? Is there but one? Is there but one? I leave that right there. It's an open question. Rhetorical in some ways, but it's an open, pointed question. Is there one among us who say, send me? That's our show for today.
Yes, sir.
We thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bernard Young, our man of business here on a Friday. He's going to be back here next Friday, God's willing. And we'll do it again because we're building a nation. We believe it. Roll the drum, Steve. Let's go home. Our show today has been brought to you by Community Hardware on Market Street, J.S. Johnson Insurance Company, Bahamas Liquidation, Central Super Center, Sandy's Cafe, Rocky Farms Nursery, Cool Tech, Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarket, McKinney Media Group, Ron's Electric Motors, Bahamas Foot and Ankle on Blake Road, Super Wash, locations everywhere to please you, Advantage Insurance, 61 Collins Avenue, the Perfume Bar. Get your Father's Day gift this time around. Make sure you do that now. Father's Day. Get it, get it, get it. Get it from the Perfume Bar. Platinum Pastries in the Old Dad Shopping Center. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. Come back here on Monday, God willing. Let us all pray. Let us be safe this weekend. Please be safe. And go to church on Sunday. Do what you have to do. But know that you are part of a nation. We are nation building. That's what we're doing right now. Nation building. See you when we come back here on Monday, God's willing.